get it started. When last we left it, we had... I'm in the afternoon branch, right? We had added Google authentication. That was the last thing we did, I think. So now we want to add routing. The point of routing is to make it so that different URLs go to different components, basically. Sometimes different components with different data loaded. So we need to do that stuff, which means we're going to have to add something to our bundle here. So if you have yarn in your note header directory, yarn add react router DOM. If you have npm5, npm install react router DOM. If you have npm earlier than that, npm install -- save react router DOM. Be really fast if you use yarn. And then we need to use it. So remember, yarn add or npm install does two things. First, it installs the thing in your node modules directory. Secondly, it adds it to the list of dependencies in package.json. React router DOM. So we need to do some stuff in index.js to make routing available throughout our app. I like to put imports that are from node modules up here separate from the stuff that's actually in our source directory. So import some named exports browser router as router, so we don't have to refer to it as browser router. The fact that it was named browser router in the export doesn't mean we have to import it as that. We can do it like this. Browser router and route from where else? React router DOM. And then we're going to change our render function here. Instead of just rendering the app component, we will wrap that in a route. So we need to use this browser router component, which we've named router, so we can use it that way. And inside there, remember in render, you have to return one root element. So router will be around all of this. We need a route. And we're going to specify the component to render as app. Remember, you could do two different things here. This is the one I'm going to go with. You don't need to type what I'm about to type. But you could specify the component to render by name like this without JSX. Or you could supply a render function directly and just put some JSX in there. That would accomplish the same thing. What's the difference? When might you want to use render instead of the other? What if you have some props you want to pass in, other than the props that React Router is going to pass in? How would I specify some props I want to pass into app here? If you use component, there's no way. You can't add additional props. So if you need to do that, then you need to use render, because then you can specify whatever props you need on this JSX. Right? So we'll be seeing examples of that pretty shortly. So this just makes routes available to app, and thus all the descendants of app. Inside app, then we should add some more. So have I broken everything? It doesn't appear so. App still renders. It still goes to my list of notes. I'm signed in, apparently. So that's good enough for a quick commit. Add React Router. So when you call render on React DOM, you need to pass it two things. A component to render, and that's what JSX returns, a component. Or an element, a React element. And you need to tell it where in the DOM to insert this thing. So if you actually looked at index.html, inside the body, there's really just one div with an ID of root. And you're just replacing that with React. So you need to specify here which DOM element it is that you're replacing with React. That's what that second argument is.